Okay, still we are solving problems. Now, problem number 4, consider the two following samples. Data set 1 represents the number of professionals in 6 accounting firms in Beirut. Data set 2 represents the number of professionals in 5 accounting firms in Tripoli. So we have, two data sets. One consists of professionals in accounting, 6 accounting firms in Beirut, and the other one consists of 5 accounting firms in the city of Tripoli. Now, these are the two data sets, data set 1 and data set 2. Then he said compare the following measures for each data set. So for each data set, of course, we're going to compare some measures of location as well as measures of dispersion or variation. Mean, median, mode, range, variance, and standard deviation. So what we're going to do, we're going to calculate all these measures. Some of them measures of locations and the others are measures of dispersion for each data set. So we're going to find the mean, median, mode, range, variance, standard deviation for data set 1. Also, we're going to calculate the mean, median, mode, range, variance, and standard deviation for data set 2. So, as you know, we have already, discussed how to calculate the variance in a previous problem. So here, what I will do, I will just state the answer, and I will explain how we calculate that one. So, of course, we have the mean, data set 1, data set 2. The mean for data set 1 is 11.67. How we calculate the mean? We just add the values in data set 1, divide by 6 by the number of observations, and we come up with 11.67. Of course, for data set 2, of course, we add all of them and divide, of course, by, by 5. Great. And we come up with 9. Okay? And as you can see, the mean in data set 1 is greater than the mean in data set 2. Now, the median, of course, in the median for data set 1, all we have to do, arrange the data from smallest to largest or from largest to smallest. Okay? And, since we have here 6, then we take the middle 2 and get the average of these two values in data set 1, and of course we come up with the median. So here the median for data set 2, for data set 1 is 12.5. Now how about for data set 2? The median, as I said, we arrange the data from smallest to largest or from largest to smallest, and then since we have odd number of values here, then we get the middle, the center of the data, and the center, as you can see, is 9. So 9 is the middle value in this set. Now, as you can see, the median in data set 1 is greater than the median in data set 2. Now, the mode, as you can see, the mode is the value that exists the highest number of times in data set 1. As you look over here, so we have any one observation that exists, more than once. Therefore, we don't have mode for data set 1, okay? Because each observation, is present only once. Each observation is present in the data only once. Therefore, we could say each observation is a mode, however, here we have no modes in this data. What about data set 2? As you can see, data set 2, we have 9 repeats 2 times or exists 2 times in this data. Therefore, 9 is a mode. Okay? So here we have mode in data set 2. We have no mode in data set 1. Okay? Now, what about the range? Of course, the range is calculated by subtracting the lowest value from the highest value. So over here, the lowest value is 7, and the highest value is 18. All we have to do, 18 minus 7. We get, of course, here, range is 13, okay? The range for, as you can see here, range is over here is, of course, 13. 18 minus 5, we get 13. 5 is the lowest value, 18 is the highest, so 18 minus 5 is 13. What about here? 13 minus 6, and we come up with 7. So 7 is the, the range for data set 2. As you can see, the range for data set 1 is greater than the range for data set 2. As I said, the range is the simplest measure of variation, and therefore it has, a defect. That defect is that, it only considers 2 values in the data set rather than all of the values. Therefore, this is one defect about the range. Now, the variance, of course, in problem 6, I will consider the procedure for finding the variance. Here, I just, stated the value of the variance. As I said, the variance in problem 6, we will repeat the method of finding the variance. Over here, the variance for data set 1 is 23.867. I just stated the, the value of the variance without going through the process of finding the variance, because I will, repeat that one in problem 6, how to calculate the variance. So as you can see, the variance in data set 1 is 23.867. However, in data set 2, it is 6.5. So as you can see, the variance, the observations, varies, has more variation here in terms of the observations than the observations here. Okay, the observations, has higher variance over here than here, large number of variance than over here, which means that the observations are not, clustered together around the mean over here. Here, they are perhaps clustered or are close together, than over here. The data here is variable. Okay? Now, what about standard deviation? All we have to do, take the, of course, the square root of the variance to come up with the standard deviation. We took the square root, we come up for 4.8, and over here, 2.5. Still, the standard deviation here in data set 1 is higher than data set 2. Okay? Now, as you can see, data set 1 is more dispersed than data set 2 because it has higher variance than data set 2. Okay? And then here, as you can see, in data set 1 is more dispersed, okay, than data set 1. Why? Because the variance is large. Is larger than data set 1. Now, we move to problem 5. Problem 5 says the average of hourly wages of 6 employees is 77.5. So now in this question, as you can see, the average of hourly wages of 6 employees is given. It is what? 77.5. Now, one value is missing. The average of the hourly wages of 6 employees is 77.5. However, one, value is missing. The wages are as follows: 66, 90, 85, 70, 74, and X. So X is a wage, but is unknown, is missing. So the question is that find the value of X. First of all, we have the average. He said that the average of the wages of 6 employees is 77.5. So what we do, we just add all the values, 66 plus 90 plus 85 plus 70 plus 74 plus X. Okay, the average, we add them and divide by the number of observations, which is 6. So that's what we did. Add them, all of them, and divide by 6. What? Is that clear? So what we do now, the average of these is 77.5. My objective is to find the value of X. So I just cross multiplication, all these, okay, multiplied times 1 is equal to 6 times 77.5. So 66 plus 90 plus 85 plus 70 plus 74 plus X equals 6 times 77.5, which is equal to 465. So X is what? It's going to be equal to 465 minus the sum of all these values. Okay, so 465 minus the sum of all these values, and we get X equal 465 minus 385, which is equal 80. So therefore, X is equal 80. X is equal 80. Okay? When he says the average, just add them, divide by the number of observations to get the average, and then the missing value is calculated by just a cross multiplication, and then find the value of X. Now, the problem 6, it says in PSTA 205 class, the grades of a sample of 9 students are these: 40, 82, 91, 100, 92, 70, 62, 70, and 23. So these are the grades of a sample of 9 students taken PSTA 205. Now, what is the average grade? So the average is that we add all of those values, we divide by the number of observations. So we have 9, so we divide all of it by 9. So we add all of them, as you can see, 40 plus 82 plus 91, all the way to 23, and divide by 9 to come up with 70. This is the average. Since we have a sample, then the average is denoted by X bar. X bar. The sum of Xi over N. Okay? And we come up with, X bar. Now, the median, of course, the very first thing is to arrange the data, okay, from smallest to largest or largest to smallest. We did that, okay. Here, we arrange them from largest to smallest, okay. Since we have 9 students, therefore we have an odd number of observations. So the median, after arranging them from smallest to largest or largest to smallest, in this case, largest to smallest, what we do, we just take the center of the data, the middle value, okay, which is here, as you can see, is 70. 70 is the median. 70 is, after you arrange them, you get here, for instance, and this is here, the median, okay? This is the median, which is the center of the data. Now the mode, of course, the mode is the value that exists the highest number of times. And here, as you can see, 70, because it exists 2 times more than any other value. Therefore, 70 is the mode. So 70. What about the range? The range, is the highest minus the lowest. So what is the highest value here? Is 100. The lowest is 23. So 100 minus 23 is 77. So the range is 77. Now, okay? Now, C, calculate the variance and standard deviation. Now here in problem 6, I will go through the process of finding the variance. The first thing is that we build a column of the observations, X, all observations. Then another column, X bar of the mean. Then a third column is X minus X bar. So what we do? 40 minus 70, 82 minus 70, 91 minus 70, 100 minus 70, 92 minus 70, 70 minus 70, 62 minus 70, 70 minus 70, 23 minus 70, And these are the answers. Some of them negative, some of them positive, of course. Okay? Great. Now, I take these values and then get their square. Now, the fourth column is x minus x bar square. So I get minus 30 square. You're going to get positive values because it's square. We are squaring all those values. Okay? And we come up, squaring all of them, which is x minus x bar square. We come up with all these values. Now, here, this is of course, the summation of these, summation of x minus x bar square is equal to 5,142. 5,140. Now, s square, which is the symbol for the variance of a sample, is going to be the summation of x minus x bar square over n minus 1, which is equal, as you can see, 5,142 over 8, n minus 1, because we have n is 9, 9 minus 1 is 8, so we come up with 642.75. This is the variance. Now, to get the standard deviation, all I have to do, square root of the variance, I come up s equal s squared, which is equal the square root of 642.75, which is equal to 25.35. This is the standard deviation. Now, part here, of course, part D over here, this is belong to problem 6 over here. Okay, this belongs here to problem 6. D problem 6 continue. D, can we consider s squared, the standard the variance, the best measure of dispersion? Why? Yes, because it takes into consideration all of the values in the data. Okay, the variance or the standard deviation, yes, indeed, is the best measure of dispersion or variation because it does take into consideration all the values in the data. Part E, comment on the shape of the distribution. Of course, as you can see here, as you can see over here, 6 here, what's the average? 70. The median is 70. Median is 70. The mode is 70. So when the mean equal the median equal the mode, then in this case we have a symmetric distribution, because a symmetric distribution is characterized by the fact that all these measures of location are equal. Okay. Now problem 7, it says if the average of 7 numbers is 9. So the average of 7 numbers. Now the numbers are not given, so we're going to assume these numbers. And the average of 3 of these numbers is 5. So now we have 7 numbers. We're going to assume these numbers. The average of those 7 numbers is 9. And the average of 3 of these numbers is 5. What is the average of the other 4 numbers? So we have the average of 7 numbers, which is 9. Also, we have the average of the first, or the average of 3 of these numbers is 5. Now we need to know the average of the other 4 numbers. Great. So first, we're going to assume certain numbers. We're going to say that, A, B, C, whatever, these are the numbers. So first thing, we're going to assume the numbers as A, B. We're going to call them A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. So these are 7 numbers. So the very first thing when you see a question like this, assume, these numbers. Try to give some symbols for these numbers. So first we give symbol A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. These are the numbers. Now, he said the average of this number is 9. So we take the average of these numbers. This is the average. Now, their average is 9. So A plus B plus C plus D plus E plus F plus G over 7 equal 9. That's what he's telling us. Okay, we get the average of those 7 numbers. The average is 9, so we divide by 7 to get 9. Now, to find the value of these numbers, I cross multiply. So cross multiply both sides. Cross multiply like this one here. This. Okay, so we come up A plus B plus C plus D plus E plus F plus G equal 7 times 9. We get 7 times 9. Okay? We get 63. So the sum of these numbers is 63. Here is saying that the average of this number is 9. Now I get the sum now of this number. Great. Now he said the average of 3 of these numbers. Let the average of the first 3 numbers, A, B, and C, as I said here, the average of 3 of these numbers is 5. Let these numbers what? Be A, B, and C. Great. So if the average of these numbers is 5, so what do? I get the average of A, B, and C. So I get A plus B plus C over 3 should equal 5, as I said over here. So I get the values of these numbers. I just cross multiply as I did here. So cross multiply this one here, okay? And I get A plus B plus C is equal 3 times 5, which is 15, which is equal 3 times 5, which is equal 15. Great. Now what I do, I just take in 1. This is 1 here. This is equation 1. Okay? Substitute in 1. This is equation 1 over here. So I take, these A plus B plus C, which is 15. Instead of A and B and C, the sum of these numbers, I put 15. So I go to equation 1 over here. I get A plus B plus C equal 15. So I put here 15, okay, here. 15 plus D plus E plus F plus G equals 63. So I need to get the average of the other 4 numbers. Now I get the sum of these numbers first. So D plus E plus F plus G equals 63 minus 15. I just take 15 to the other side. I come up with 63 minus 15. I get 48. Okay, I get what? 48. Now, okay, so now the average of D, E, F, and G is this. I just sum them and divide by 4 because I have 4 numbers. Okay, so I get the average of these is what? I need to get the average. Now, I sum them over 4. Now, some of them is given at 48. So instead of D plus E plus F G, I put the value of these from the previous equation here, previous solution 48. So I get 48 over 4, I get 12. So now, the average of the other 4 numbers is equal to 12. Okay? Now, we move to problem 8. Problem 8, similar to problem 7, it says the arithmetic mean of a set of 6 numbers. We have 6 numbers. Of course, we're going to assume, give symbols for these numbers. You say like A, B, C, whatever, okay? It's 28. So the arithmetic mean or the average of these 6 numbers is 28. If a certain number y is removed from the set, so y is going to be part of those numbers. Is removed. If y is removed from this set, then the average of the remaining numbers is, then the average of the remaining numbers in the set is 24. What is the value of y? First of all, the very first thing you're going to say, let these numbers be A, B, C, okay? Let the set of 6 numbers be A, B, C, D, E, and Y. Great. So the mean of these numbers, as he said, the arithmetic mean is this number is 28. So what we do, we just sum them, divide by 6 is equal to 28. So now I cross multiply as I did over here in the previous question. I just cross multiply these, okay, and they come up A plus B plus C plus D plus E plus Y equals 6 times 28. We get 168. So the sum of all these numbers now is 128. 128, you know, is attained by multiplying 6 times 28. Great. Now, I take Y from this because Y is removed. Now, Y is removed from this set. So when I remove Y, so Y, if I solve this equation by for Y, so what I do, Y is equal 168 minus all these. So Y is equal 168 minus, I take all of these to the other side. So I get Y is equal 168 minus all these, you know, numbers. A plus B plus C plus D plus E. Okay, great. Now, he's saying that the average of the remaining numbers in the set is 24. So those remaining numbers here, their average is 24. So let me take the average of this number. Average of the remaining numbers, okay, that is average of A, B, C, D, and E, okay, is what? 24. So let us take the average of these numbers. So I get A plus B plus C plus D plus E over the number of values here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, over 5. See? What's the average as he's telling us? 24. So I get the average. Now cross multiply both sides, as I said, like this. Cross multiply both sides. So I get A plus B plus C plus D plus E is equal 5 times 24. Okay? Which is equal 120. Great. Okay? Now, if the sum of these numbers is 120, okay? Now, from 1, this is 1 over here. Y is equal what? 168 minus the sum of the remaining numbers. The remaining number, their sum is what here? Is 120. So I substitute 120 in these, and I will get the value of Y. So Y is going to equal 168 minus 120, and we'll come up with 48. So Y is 48.